Wednesday night, we had our contemplative service, which we do once a month, the first Wednesday night of every month. And if you haven't participated in that, I invite you to come and see what that's all about next month. We will be doing it in July, even though it's the 3rd of July and right before the holiday, but we will still be having it. Our theme for this past Wednesday was, who am I? We asked the question, who am I? And I did some readings about who am I? And encouragement about how we answer the question, or ask the question, really. And we continually ask the question, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And have that revealed to us. And one of the readings that I want to share with you today. It's from Marie Watts, who was a teacher of metaphysics in the mid part of the last century. And she says, there are two words in the English language that epitomize clearly and concisely just what it is that constitutes you. Therefore, it is of prime importance that a deep and thorough perception of the meaning of these words be established in and as your consciousness. These words are absolute and identity. These two words, which combined, are a wonderful definition of you. Realizing this, you will wish to study carefully the following definitions of them. Absolute, free from imperfection, complete in its own character, free from limits, restrictions, or qualifications. And identity, reality at its deepest level in which subject and object are one. Much has been written and said about absolute, and it has been good, yet until we perceive that all is known of this absolute is the truth of our identity, it apparently does not fulfill itself as us. This is the truth of you, and it is true this instant. And so we talked about that on Wednesday night. Who are we? Who am I? Who am I? I am that absolute. I am the expression of that one. As we talk about God as the one power, the one presence, the one source, the one life, the one love, the only one. There is only one. And that one expresses itself individuated as you and me. We talked about that. And so after the service, somebody came up to me and she, with great appreciation, she said, "Thank you for that. I really enjoyed being there." And what comes up for me is the question, why? I asked the question, who am I? But then I asked the question, why am I? And so she looked at me as if I had an answer. She looked at me as if I was going to give her the answer. And as all great spiritual leaders do, I said, "Well, what do you think?" That's the fallback question, answer, right? Well, what do you think? And so I joke about that, but I do believe it is something that has to be revealed to us individually, really. As we ask the question, who am I? And we then ask, well, why am I? It's revelation that has to come to us and through us. And so I didn't really have an answer for her. But I thought, well, what a great question to ponder. Why am I? And so I thought about that this week, and I'm not claiming to have a definitive answer for anyone. I just sharing with you a little bit about what came to me as I pondered and contemplated that question. Why am I? Why are we? Why is humanity here? What is that about? And then why am I here individually? And so what came to me about that, a few things I want to share with you briefly, hopefully, is that we are here because God, the source, the one consciousness with the big C, could only experience itself subjectively, without form. And so I believe that we are here to experience that divine objectively. That we, as conscious, self-conscious beings, can experience creation and delight in that creation. And so I thought, well, if that's why I'm here, if I could really believe and understand that's why I'm here, how would that perspective change the way I relate to the world around me? If that's why I'm here, if I'm here to have the experience of the divine as the divine, consciously awakening unto itself as itself, then everything that I perceive, I can delight in. Everything is an opportunity for me to experience the divine without judgment. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Everything and everyone I can experience as that divine. And I think, why are we here except to have the experience of being here and to experience all that this dimension has to bring to us? That I can delight in you as God, as life, expressing itself, even if I don't agree with you, your opinions or your thoughts or your way of being in the world. You are God expressing perfectly, wholly, completely as you. Who am I to say that's bad? Who am I to say that's good? My opportunity is to be present for it. Right? So why am I here? To have the experience of being here. To have the objective experience of the world. And I can do that in so many different ways. So why am I here? Why am I? I believe another thing that came to me about that is I'm here. I am here, you are here to bring forth into this dimension the kingdom of God. To manifest in this plane, on the earth, heaven, the consciousness of heaven, right here and right now on this plane. To bring forth the kingdom of God. And I've heard it said, and I like it much better, to take the G out of that word, and it becomes the kingdom of God. The kingdom of all. The kingdom means that we are all related. We are all one. We are all expressions of that one energy. And can we bring forth into demonstration a world that mirrors the recognition of our kingdom? Our kingdom. Oneness, our unity as one people, as one life, and connect with that life. And I have this idea, again, I really don't want to be in judgment of it, and I recognize that I can get into judgment of some things, So I recognize that how many of us, I feel like in some ways we are separating ourselves more than connecting with our kingdom. I mean, how many of us go into a restaurant and we sit there and either we notice everybody looking at their phones, or we're the ones looking at our phones while we are having the opportunity to connect with someone else. We are withdrawing in some ways from our kingdom in that respect, I think. And so I noticed myself doing it, right? How many of us go into a grocery store and purchase products without ever considering where they came from? Who grew them? We go into a grocery store and we buy, again, I'm not being in judgment of this, but how we go and we go buy meat and we don't think about where that meat came from. I was watching a movie the other day, and they were out in the country, and and they were getting ready to cook dinner, and the man goes out and he wrings the chicken's neck, and the woman's going, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. And he said, well, where do you think chicken comes from? And she said, the grocery store. Right? So we're disconnected in some ways from where does that come from? How does that affect the whole, the all? You know, I was looking the other day online, and I was thinking, oh, I need some new clothes. I need to buy something different, something new. And I realized, well, you know, I can buy pretty inexpensive clothes. And so how am I going to do that without any consideration about where that came from? Or who was involved in making that? And so, again, I think that our opportunity is to bring forth the kingdom upon the earth. We continue to burn fossil fuels. We continue to buy single-use plastic. We continue to do all of these things that don't really honor the kingdom of God that is our unity. And so I think our opportunity is just to be more aware of that. You know, I noticed too that we have different receptacles for garbage and for recycling and for compost here in this facility. And then I noticed that Julia, who is our janitorial person, and Vicky, quite often, are sorting the trash. So are we aware? Educating ourselves, informing ourselves of our impact on our environment and what we can do, little things we can do to bring forth our unity and to honor that unity with the environment and with the earth and with each other and all of those things that we can do. So I think we are here to demonstrate that. And I know for myself, I can do better. I can do it differently. I can make different choices. I can make differently informed choices. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that. And the thing that I did say to this person after service on Wednesday night is that I believe that we're here to be love. We're simply here to be love in the world. Why am I here? I'm here to be love. I'm here to remember love and to share love, to experience love. And what invariably comes up when I say something like that, or even when I hear other people say it, and they say, well, yeah, I get that, but then what about all the people who aren't being loved? What about all of the stuff, the fear, and the people who are doing things to hurt other people? What about that? That's not love. And I've probably said that myself. And as I meditated on this week, what came to me was, that's none of your business. That is absolutely none of your business. If you're focusing on what somebody else is doing, then you're giving energy to what they're doing. Our opportunity is to be love right here, right now, in ourselves, and for the world. And if we are attaching to what somebody else is doing in judgment and being in, that is fear. If you're judging something, you're in fear of what you're judging. And so our opportunity is to withdraw our judgment from what anyone else is doing, or not doing, or saying, or not saying, and simply come back home to love. Now, I am not saying by that you don't take action. But I'm saying come back to love before you take action. And come from that place of love. We're here to be loved in the world. Why am I in my family? You're there to be loved. Why am I in my job? You're there to be loved. Why am I in this building today? You're in this building to be loved. That's your only role. That's my only role. To remember love and to be loved wherever we are. And how that expresses itself will be informed by the energy of love that we align ourselves to. Doesn't mean you don't take action. Love does not let someone else suffer. Love responds from love to support love. Love is what is being experienced and expressed in our children's garden with our teachers. Coming from love to bring forth, as Lisa said, that love and that light within our children. So why? Interesting question. Why am I? And again, I'm not saying any of that is definitive or the absolute answer. I'm just offering them up for our consideration. And suppose that any of that is true, that I'm here to experience God, source, life, love expressed through everything. Suppose that's true. How does that affect my actions? Suppose it is true that I am here to bring forth the kingdom of God upon the earth. Suppose it's true. How does that affect my choices, my actions? Suppose it's true that no matter what, no matter where I find myself, no matter what comes into my experience, that I'm simply here to be love. Suppose that's true. How does that affect my choices? How does that affect my thoughts and my actions? So I just offer those up for our consideration, my consideration and your consideration. I'd love to hear your ideas about why. So if all of that is true, and if love is why I'm here, then just let me be open to that. Let me be open to being a vessel for love. What better why? What better answer could we have to why? To be love.